Hey, we've got Zach Heiner here. Zach, thanks for joining us. Your office is right behind here.
Yeah, if I talk too loud when people are doing their podcasts, they can hear me.
They come over and they're like, stop yelling at everybody.
No, it's more embarrassing than that. There have been a couple times. So I like music a lot, but I'm a terrible singer, and so there are times where I'll have like my headphones on and my office door closed and be singing. Somebody would be like, "What is that god awful noise that's coming through the wall? You're ruining my podcast."
Oh my gosh! Well, that's why we had you come in this time, because we didn't want you singing on the other side.
That makes sense. I appreciate the invite.
Well, tell us about you and your career. You came from Cutco. You came to the door-to-door side.
Yeah. So right after my mission, served my mission in Japan, and then right after my mission, came home. In high school, I was a magician.
Oh, no way.
And cool. I've done magic for 20 years.
That's kind of
so. A lot of times people go, they find out I'm a magician. They're like, "Oh, my grandpa did magic tricks at my birthday party." I'm like, this is a little different. And so I did it professionally. A lot of executives. I lived in Portland, Oregon, and so a lot of executives for like Nike and Intel, and I would do their parties. Oh, cool. Not typically kids' parties, like dinner events. But when I came back from my mission, that was when the recession, like the 2008 to 2012 recession, was kind of going on, and so nobody had money to pay for entertainers, and so. Found a job in sales, was at Cutco. A lot of times people do Cutco for like a month or two.
Yeah, I tried that. I got knives.
Yep. I was there for 6, almost 7 years. And then, JP Arley, who was here, some of the kind of the old dogs will know JP really well. JP brought 100 plus managers over from Cutco, and we all failed hard.
It was tough. It was a tough transition.
Yeah, I think hindsight 2020, we didn't know what we were doing. I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day. Had they put us on the doors the very first year, I think it would have completely changed the game, and the GM program would have been very different, because that's what we were and kind of ended up becoming. And so from there, I transitioned to the doors. So I came to Vivint in 2014. Transitioned to the doors. Then I went back to school. Got my software engineering degree, and then I was actually going to go code for Walmart. JP called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I need somebody to code some stuff in the background because our managers don't have good tools." And so he's like, "Hey, I'll match your offer at Walmart. Come work with us. It's going to be under the guise of sales training, but you can do that in your sleep. You've been doing it your whole life." And then I signed my paperwork in March of 2020, and we all know that in March of 2020 the world shut down.
That was a great year.
Yep. And so like when JP launched Iron Sharpens Iron, that was kind of the pivot, and I had to teach myself how to run a podcast in like a week. And anyway, and the rest is history. Now I run training, work on a lot of our sales tools, consult on a lot of our technology, do our podcasts. A lot of times when I'm out in the field, people will be like, "Hey, that's the guy who does compliance," which I'm definitely not the angel of death, but I do work with compliance quite a bit.
Okay.
And then, I think the thing I get recognized most in the last couple of years is like the sneaker spots I did on Josh's podcast last year.
Yeah.
People are like, "Hey,
kind of
sneaker guy."
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. My hobbies are pretty vast, so.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how we're going to have Zach Olson on here, and how many guys at your level of very influential helping, like you guys help the door to door a ton in your current careers.
Yeah,
you came from door to door.
Yeah,
and because you came from door to door, and I think a lot of guys look at Vivint and they say, "I don't know if I want to do this forever," and I hope they do, because I love sales, and but it's amazing how many guys came to the doors and are still here on the corporate side making a big difference.
Yeah, so this is just, again, I agree. I think if you can stay doing sales, it's an amazing place to be. Sometimes, though, like me, you feel called to do something else, and that's why I went back to school. But I will say this, for those of you who are here, like, take advantage of the time that you're here. I had a professor at school, and again, I have a software engineering background. This is a guy who worked at Intel, one of the top people there, and he was like, the best thing that any of you nerds, he said it exactly this way, best thing any of you nerds can do is go sell so that you can learn people skills.
Yep.
Because you can be the most brilliant person in the whole entire world, but if you can't communicate your ideas, they're worth.
I'm listening to a book right now called Quiet. It's about introverts.
Oh, interesting.
And it's about how we're not really made as extroverts, majority of people, but we live in a very extroverted world, and so it's kind of a skill we have to learn, even though it's not a lot of times who we are.
For sure.
Which I for sure identify as an introvert. Let's hop into production here. Top 3 rookies on last week. These numbers doubled from week 2 to week 3.
It's amazing.
Darren, I think you're close to 30 now. Nice work. Aiden, 8.5, and Cannon with 6.8. And I believe 2 out of those 3 are doing the workout competition, which tells me that they are motivated dudes.
I love that.
So not double digits yet.
Hey, but the funny thing about your top rookies, right, is you're going to see significant growth throughout the whole entire summer in this category.
Well, the funny part is we have veterans and rookies, and you're a data guy, so you get it. But that you got veterans doing 7 a week right now that are freaking out. They're like, I'm not going to hit my goals. I'm not going to hit my goals. And they look at it as, if I continue to do 7 a week for 20 months, you're right, you're not going to hit your goals. But that is never the curve of the summer, right? It's not like your first week you do 6 the entire summer. What does the curve generally look like?
Yeah, it's an upward trend.
Yeah, it's okay. So if you're doing 6 now, you're probably looking a month from now, you're hopefully doing 10.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that I'm going to bet, and this is just a personal, theory, but I'm going to bet those guys who are doing 6 or 7 as veterans, they didn't take advantage of the preseason like they probably should have.
Sure. Yeah, they came in a little bit cold.
Yeah.
So, or a new market.
Yeah. Time to warm up, guys.
Yep. Some of these markets are warming up. Some of them are still cold. It's snowing today in Utah. Top vets. We got Mark Garcia. This is his 3rd week. Is that right, Kelly? On the top leaderboard? Switch spots. Cool. Mark and Gabe, they spoke together. They're like best friends. They spoke together in Vegas last year as far as they came from the oil rigs.
Oh, cool.
And they came into Vivint, and they're just kind of hardworking, humble, and they're both running teams this year, and they're doing amazing things, and they're on the leaderboard every week.
I love dudes like that. They typically come in and are the most grateful people for the opportunity because they know what it's like to go live a sucky job.
Yeah, they're like, I came from framing, and every time I'm out on the doors and I smell like the smell of like wood being cut.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the best smell ever, because I will never do that again. And then Jordy, always itching for the number 1 spot. Nice work, Jordy. Love seeing you up there figuring out that market. Top offices, you got Mini at the top, 125. That's a lot.
Those are big boy numbers for sure.
Anything over 100 this early on you're running a good operation.
100%.
And then Savannah up at the top where they need to be. Dakotas, nice seeing you guys there. Quad Cities and Augusta. We got to get. Macon had a rough week, and I asked Brandon. I said, hey, do I need to hop on a plane and come out? And he goes, nope, we're figuring it out. I'm like, my managers are studs.
Who is it that's in Macon?
Brandon Miller.
Oh.
And he'll figure it out.
I love Brandon Miller. He helped us, I think, with a pilot last year in the extension, and it was awesome.
He's always willing to just jump on the sword and say, hey, anything I can do to help.
Yeah, he's great.
Dinner goals, we had a few of these. Who's doing these dinner goals? Is that you, or is that Steven, or who's?
Yeah, with Kevin leaving, I'm now part of Connor's organization, and so that's Steven and Sydney.
Well, they're way better this year than they've ever been. We actually had 3 offices win it, which is a record. That's a PR for us.
I love that.
We should have more with only 10% increase, but we had a few people have really good second weeks and not so great third weeks. So I love seeing that. And then area directors, we like to make sure everybody knows what our area directors are doing every week. And so judging by those numbers, you got some doing it and some not doing it.
Yeah.
And, Brandon, rough week. Aaron, first week in market. You guys killed it in Quad Cities, very first week. Preston, those are all numbers that definitely we will see improvement on. If we don't, we'll be on a plane. Gabe, Jaime, first week in market, doing 10 plus. And Greg Jacobson at 7.6. Got to give him some
Yeah, so it's interesting because I talked to Greg a ton last year with everything in Boise, and so I'm excited. I'm actually very interested because I grew up in the Northwest to see how he does in Tri-Cities like that. That area, in my opinion, is prime.
I think it's one of the best markets.
No one's been there. Like the whole Northwest has been like just embroiled in crime and nastiness and homeless people. Like I think the three markets in Portland, Southern Oregon, and Tri-Cities, I'm excited to see what they can pull out of their hats.
And I think there's going to be a learning curve for figuring
sure.
it out. But the softer doors, the high crime is definitely a sweet spot right now, Vivint.
100%. And they're going to have significant opportunities. It's exciting.
Yeah, I think for sure. Top rookies on Saturday, or Saturday standouts. We got Pena up there with 3.8, Jordy 4.1, and Minnie throwing in 30 plus.
That's awesome.
So I feel like 30 plus this early in the summer is at 4 o'clock. You're saying we're backed up. We can't install anything else. Let's go to the pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not what they should do, but you definitely have people, especially if you have a low amount of techs right now. Yeah, that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, but that's a good problem to have, right? It's not the worst problem to have. I wish we worked on Sundays.
Not me, but I hear
man,
you. I wish the techs worked on Sundays.
Knocking on Sundays, you find everybody that you never found during the week.
100%, because there's still people who are working Saturdays.
Yeah. And, I remember last year in extension, I was chasing upgrades, and Sundays was my best day every week because people were home. So can we fix that?
Work on Sundays?
Work on Sundays, take Mondays off.
Probably not.
All right. Well, we tried, guys. We did our best.
Hey, I always shoot it straight. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not going to lie to you. So
here's our rep count per office. What do you think? Are those healthy numbers?
Total reps in market. That's what these are.
And the reps coming or, traveling out.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those are pretty healthy numbers. I mean, obviously we all wish that everybody was 30 plus, but, Minnie doing over 156 reps. I mean, that's only going to get a whole lot better. So,
yeah, I think anything under 20, you're playing with fire a little bit.
Yep.
Anything over 50s, it's an operation. That's a business at that point.
Yeah, that's a force. Somebody to be reckoned with. I'm excited to see what some of these teams do in the Cup this year.
Yeah, man, the Cup feels so far away.
And it'll come so fast.
I'm not. So here's some cool reporting. This just shows year over year. From last week, we got 6 out of the 8 offices in the green, which is, way up. And this is calculating where we thought you'd be, where your rookies and veterans were this time last year compared to where your rookies and veterans are this time this year.
I love this. Compare you to you.
Yep. So despite what your offices may look like or may not look like, right, this is the reality. This is the reality of growth. So we're growing. We had a huge growth week last week, 20%. We were the top senior region. We did 476 EFP last week, and that's a lot of accounts. This early in the summer, I think we'll be over 500, and that EFP's not hurting us.
Yeah, for sure.
So I believe last week in Evo, our EFP average was 101.
That's amazing. I think, Wyatt and I talked about this on the podcast. It's going to drop Monday, so I think this goes out to you guys Tuesday. So there should be a podcast live in here, but we talked a little bit about the difference between when he was slinging and it's like doorbell bangers at $60 a pop.
Yeah.
Now the nice thing is like really, we don't really compete for price anymore. It's not the same, right? Yeah. Other companies are not putting in the same quality of equipment that we have, and the system and the way that it works, people just genuinely use it. And so for those of you out there who are like, hey, people won't pay for $100, I promise you, there are reps out there that have averages right now that are like 120, 130 per deal.
And in markets that you wouldn't expect it.
Right.
So our number one EFP in Evo last week, never guess, New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of wild actually.
112 average.
Which is so, look, I mean, Eli, you would probably agree with me on this, but when you're 20 and your largest bill is maybe your cell phone, you pay $60 or less than that for it, it's hard for you to fathom that somebody's going to pay $100, especially when they have a house, 2 nice cars, all the things. But you and I would probably agree, $100 is probably the cheapest bill that you have.
The difference between a $60 bill and a $120 bill for anybody that's established, there's no difference. It's not like I have to decide. It really, do I want the bill? Do I want to pay $60?
Totally.
Am I okay paying for security? If I'm paying $60 or $100 or $120, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I'm paying something. That's all pretty cheap.
Yeah. My wife will waste $60 at Swig in a month. So
there you go.
The Utah soda machine is churning, and she's providing for that.
That thing is those things are taking over every corner.
Yeah, but again, the more comfortable you can get with a high price, and the more confidence you have that they'll love it, people stay and are sticky and refer who love the system, and the more equipment you get them, the better.
Yeah, so sell the big packages. Here's our last week rookies to veterans as far as where the production's coming from. And I would love to see this, I think 40% with all the rookies. I think we had 130 rookies with sales in the preseason accounts in our group. And so I think this number could get, the rookies could give the veterans a run for their 60-40 split, maybe.
Yeah, shout out to Minnie and the Dakotas and Savannah and is it Valdosta?
Yep.
Like great spread between the rookies and the vets. Like having a third of your accounts come from rookies is amazing.
So this is the talk of the town right now is the summer shred comp. We're going to end here. We got every penny that we've collected for this is going back out to the guys for incentives and prizes. Rogue gift cards. If you get on the Rogue website and you like lifting, that thing is expensive and a lot of fun. And then some flights. So the prizes are going to go for, I've had a lot of questions about this, but best before and after photos. And who's going to be the judge? Have you met Seth Berbert?
I think so, yeah.
He looks like Captain America, 8 Captain America.
Yeah.
So he's owned a CrossFit gym for 10 plus years, and he's a savage. So he knows what he's looking at. He'll be the judge. Most body fat percent lost. And that'll be a fun one. A lot of people are excited about that one, especially out knocking doors. Most muscle gain, I think that one's going to be tough. You got to eat. You got to eat your protein, and you got to put in the time in the gym, well on the doors. We've got a lot of people here at corporate jumping on this. They might have a better chance of that one. And then the best before and after abs. So sorry, Gabe Ramirez, you can't just walk in and lift up your shirt. You have to have a better before and after. Which, for Josh and for some of these guys that are already got that 12-pack going, it might be tough. So I'm excited for this. We're going to extend the for you because you don't have your in-body.
It is my fault. I'm sorry,
in-body in yet. We're going to extend it a day, let people register. What if you're a rookie out there and you want to do this, but $150 is $150 right now? Should we let them Venmo us or during the competition, or should we say, hey, deadline's a deadline?
Look, my personal opinion is you should set a date. How long have they known about it?
2 weeks.
Yeah, I would set a date that payment has to be in by. And if they get it by then, look, $150 for some of you guys, go sell 2-3 accounts this week, and you're going to be able to Venmo that no problem. And so I would probably give it 2 weeks. That way they have, or maybe 3. That way they have 2 pay periods.
Let's do June 1st.
Yeah, and if you haven't paid by then, I still would say it's worth your time to go put this in. I interview all the top reps, have for the last couple years, and I would tell almost anybody that the main habit you'll see across top reps are 2 things. A, they are very, very intentional about learning. They're always learning, always trying to become better in all areas, not just in selling, but specifically they do learn a lot about selling, and they have a very good health habit. Whether that's they eat really well, go to the gym, most of the time it's both. And if you can develop both of those things, you can't help but have success because A, you're going to get around other people who think that way, and B, there's direct correlation to how your brain gets programmed when you go and get healthy.
All right, here's who we have registered and have paid. So again, if you want to sign up, get the in-body scan. They're everywhere, or the DEXA scan done ASAP. Today's last day. Get the Google Doc filled out, and it just takes a minute. And if you're short on payment, you got till June 1st.
Perfect.
So
I love that.
Let's go get in shape and go bust 500 accounts this week.
Yeah, I'm excited to compete with some of you 20-year-olds as a almost 37-year-old.
Hey,
so.
Age is just a number.
I agree with that completely. Again, 5 years ago, you told me I'd be in the best shape of my life. I'd have told you you're effing crazy.
Yeah, 37.
But I am the best shape of my life, and
savage.
This is gonna push it even further.
Do we have Kelly on this list? Kelly's on here too. The only female competing.
Hey, Kelly, I think you need to recruit some people.
Can you get your three amigos downstairs? We'll go after Jessica, Michaela, and Abby.
Hey, get it done. You should have your own female category.
Ooh, that'd be sick.
Prizes are everything.
Trips.
I do know all four of those people like to travel. So.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us today, and let's go kill it.
Anytime. Love it. Thanks, man.